Hey everybody, come on in. It's Sean. This is Yankey Rants. We're going to start here in just a second. Give you just a second to share, get this out, put it out to as many people as you can. We're going to rant. This is a rant show. It's Yankey Rants. So we're going to rant about some topics. I've got some things written down to rant about, and we're going to do that for a little while, and then we can get into anything you want. So if you got something on your mind that you're mad about, go ahead and let us know in the comments, and we will get to that coming up. I'm going to talk about some things I have written down: deception, cops, and the revolution. We're going to talk about that. So I'm going to rant about that stuff, but we can talk about anything you want. We always end up getting into a little bit of everything. So come on in, like and share, participate in the show, comment, all of that. It helps us do better in the algorithm on all platforms and get out to more people. So, hello to everybody on YouTube and Periscope. We're new to that. That's something new. We've been streaming on Facebook for a couple years, but it's new going out on Periscope and YouTube. So, we've been paying for that software. That's a paid software, and it's called Caster. By the way, I'm smoking. I already was smoking. So, I'm just going to go ahead and break the barrier right now. We'll see how long I make it after this one. How about that? But we're we're trying to get fancy around here. We're going to get a new computer too soon, and we'll be doing cooler backgrounds and things like that, and being able to switch in between things and neater stuff. Well, new possibilities will open up. But real quick, I'm going to get into the rant here and talk about what I was going to talk about, and then we'll talk about whatever you want, like I said. But the first thing I really want to get into is how we live in the age of deception. This is the age of deceit. It literally is. There was a movie made in the 80s by John Carpenter called They Live, starring Roddy Piper. And, you know, it was supposed to be a dystopian, fantastical movie, but it's true. The whole world is lies and deception, and you're being misled at every angle and from every direction, mostly by the media. The media is a weapon. It is being used and has been used ever since its inception, really, but as a fine-tuned weapon since about the 50s during Operation Mockingbird when the CIA took it over. The CIA is, the media is complete propaganda, complete lies, and made to distract and divide the people. It's a tool of the powerful elite. That's their weapon that they use on us every day. No matter what channel you watch, it is a weapon. And Hollywood too, movies too. Just you don't think because you're protected because you don't watch that, you just watch movies. There's predictive programming in movies as well. Subliminal messaging in movies, music, subliminal messaging in music. That stuff's all real. That is real. In large parts it's been exposed, but the stuff that's not been exposed or has been exposed, but people think you're crazy for saying it, that stuff's true too. It's real. There is an agenda. Kennedy tried to warn everybody about it. He also tried to warn everybody that the media had been taken over and tried to get those journalists and stuff that still existed, that still had integrity, to do something about it, to rise up, to make their voices heard and to be the fourth wall before it died. But it's dead. It's dead. And now it lives in places like this, in independent media and shows. So do all you can to support them. When you find a show that you like, or an independent journalist or independent media that you like, support it, share it, spread it out, get it out there. That's the only way it is ever going to happen. We have great platforms with things like Facebook. Someone brought it to my attention. I am in Facebook jail currently, right? Sharing jail. It's a special kind of Facebook jail for creators and people that share too much. If your content is too popular, they put you in a special Facebook sharing jail where you can only do watch parties on your own timeline and you can only share to your own pages. Can't even share to my own groups, by the way. But that's where I'm at right now in Facebook land. Someone pointed out to me I shouldn't dwell on that. I should see this as, well, one, an opportunity, and two, just something I got to go through. Facebook is a great platform. The internet is a great platform. It's also a weapon. But like any weapon, it can be used for good as well. And what I'm doing with these shows, every one of my shows, no matter what they are, whether it's Rant Show or Yankee Show or Conspiracy Theories and Chill or even the Daily Burn, they're all about different things, but they all center around the truth. I don't lie to you on any of them. I tell you the truth. That's important to spread and share the truth when you find it, because we do live in the age of deceit. Whether you're religious or not, we live in the age of deceit, and everything around you is a lie and controlled. But let me say hi to some people real quick that are here, and we'll really get into this because I want to go. I got more to say about lies. But hi, Tony. Hi, Helen. Hey, Lori. I was hoping Ginger would make it. Ginger likes the ranch shows. She might make it late. I know she works overnights, I believe. So she'll make it. Someone tag her. But Hollywood. Someone told me the other day that magic doesn't exist, that magic isn't real. Magic is absolutely real. Your whole world is an illusion. Your whole reality is manufactured and controlled. Everything that you read, see, and take in is controlled and and part of an agenda, including Hollywood. Hollywood is literally magic. That's what Hollywood stands for. It stands for a type of wood used in witchcraft. I don't remember exactly what, but it has pagan roots. The word, even, the name of it. And yeah, it could be a coincidence. But at a certain point, don't we have to start disregarding some of these coincidences? Isn't that what we have to do at a certain point? We just have to ignore these coincidences. There can't be hundreds of coincidences all lining up perfectly all the time, can there? Sorry, I'm so parched. It's not all accidents. It's an agenda. It's planned. We're guinea pigs. We're puppets on a string. We're being manipulated and led around, given lies as truth. Every night, Rachel Maddow gets on TV, makes $30,000 an episode to lie to you. And if you don't like Rachel Maddow, let's say you like Fox, Tucker Carlson, same story. I don't know how much he makes an episode, but same thing. He's pitching an agenda. He doesn't report anything on his own. And anytime he does, like, for example, you can't speak about vaccines. That's a topic that cannot be covered. It's an untouchable subject. But Tucker Carlson once had Robert Kennedy Jr. on. Robert Kennedy Jr. is big in the vaccine regulation fight. He's trying to get regulations in the vaccine industry. If you don't know, the vaccine industry is unregulated. To me, that's dangerous. I'm not an anti vaxxer, neither is Robert Kennedy Jr., but no media will have him on because he's speaking negatively about vaccines, even though he's not telling you not to vaccinate your kids. It's not what he's saying. It's not the agenda he's pushing. Media just don't want him on. Tucker Carlson never had him on again. You never saw him back on. You won't see him back on. There was probably so much backlash. He doesn't have freedom on that show. There's no such thing as a real journalist on mainstream media that actually has a show and is doing what they want. They're all puppets, paid actors that read a script. Some of them are probably CIA. The CIA infiltrated the media in the 50s, Operation Mockingbird. It's a fact. They say they stopped, but there's no reason to believe that. There's no reason to believe the CIA about anything. Their whole purpose is deception. That's what they do. So, you know, just know that and know that the media is manipulated and what we see is controlled. Even if you don't believe me that it's manipulated, it's controlled by six corporations. The media is completely owned by 6 corporations. Basically, 6 people control everything that we take in, everything that we see, everything that we're exposed to in the media. 6. That's 6 companies that own everything, and I'm including Hollywood movie companies. They own everything, all of it. And they do control it. You know, I am a burner, and Bernie talked about how they were controlling the media and doing negative spins against him and not covering him, which are all facts. But they tried to make him seem like he was crazy. It's not crazy. It's not crazy to believe that Jeff Bezos would want Bernie to be undercovered and to be miscovered. The Washington Post did something like 17 negative stories on Bernie Sanders in the course of a 24 hours. It's, the media is completely manipulated. And think about this. When was the last time that you heard about Jeffrey Epstein in the mainstream media? Where did that story go? What happened to that? And it's just like Pizzagate. And the Epstein story ties to Pizzagate. Pizzagate is real. Pizzagate is about sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is real, and it's a huge problem in this country. And it is an ignored problem. And that is what helps it to go on by turning a blind eye. And you're turning that blind eye because you're believing in the deception. Believe the truth. Listen to the truth. Find the truth when it's exposed. Jeffrey Epstein was a powerful man with connections to rich and powerful people that was running a sex ring for decades. And he dies, and the story just goes away. Well, he had blackmail tapes. There were links to other people. There's more to the story. Why is the story going away? If there was real journalism in this country, that story would still be all over the place, trying to dig and find, well, who's tied to this? Who was involved? Bill Clinton, for example, flew on the Lolita Express, Epstein's plane, 20 something times. He ditched the Secret Service even to fly on this plane. Why? Where'd he go? Did he go to the private island, Epstein's private island, where they say he had underage sex slaves? You know, as far as Pizzagate goes, the people treat you like you're crazy if you talk about Pizzagate, because the media spun it like you got to be crazy. You know, they spun it like you got to be insane to believe in that. You think that John Podesta has a pizza-related handkerchief? To what? What pizza place do you know that gives out maps with handkerchief maps? You know, maps to their pizza place on a handkerchief. Or who prints? Who loves a pizza place so much that they get a handkerchief hand embroidered with a pizza place name on it? What would a handkerchief have to do with pizza? Is the handkerchief pizza related? These are all things from the WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks has never published anything that isn't true. Having $60,000 pizza parties. Do you believe that shit? But the media makes it look crazy. They paint up Comet Pizza and show James Alefantis and pretend he's innocent. He's not innocent. Did you see the Instagram account of Comet Pizza? They were at least a misdirection. Minimal. But the shit that went on in that pizza place is ridiculous. Look it up. The art that hangs on the wall in that pizza place is ridiculous. I am no art aficionado, but I do know child pornography when I see it, and that art is child pornography. Little kids in their underwear looking back over their shoulder, images of, it's disgusting. Their Instagram account was disgusting. And like Lori says, all the missing kids. We have an epidemic of missing kids in this country, and a large part of that is sex trafficking, human trafficking. It's a very big problem. I worked at a truck stop, and they would have us watch videos on what to do if we found underage girls on the lot being prostituted. This is real. It happens every day, but people turn a blind eye. That's all Pizzagate. That's all of it is. Underage is underage, but it is as extreme as toddlers. But it could also be teenage girls. It's all the whole spectrum. It's all real. It all exists. There are disgusting people that walk this planet, and unfortunately, a lot of them are in power. A lot of them are in positions of power, and a lot of them are very rich, and as a result, very powerful. And they control everything, literally everything. They control history. They control all of it. Helen says not just girls either. I don't mean to focus just on girls. It's little boys as well. Um, Hot dogs. That's little boys. Hillary's not having hot dog parties. You really believe Hillary Clinton's having hot dog parties? What? They bringing in Nathan from Nathan's Hot Dogs and he's catering a hot dog party at the White House for $65,000? You believe that? As far as I know, you don't bring outside food into the White House. That doesn't happen. As far as I know. But what I'm saying is, it's not impossible. You're trained to believe that this is impossible, that what I'm saying right now is ridiculous, and that anyone speaking like me should be ignored. Well, it's not ridiculous. It goes on. And read those WikiLeaks. Tell me it ain't weird. Tell me it ain't weird. Pizza related maps. What the hell is that? What is that? I'll tell you what it sounds like. And these codes, these words, these are the same words that the FBI uses in profiling of sexual predators. They're the exact same codes that's what they're talking about. In the Podesta emails, in the WikiLeaks. It's what they're talking about. We're ignoring this stuff. Come on, it's proven. They never dispute that the WikiLeaks are real. That's never disputed. They're right there. Every one of us has a computer in our pocket. To be ignorant in the age of information is completely unforgivable, really. To believe that flickering, lying ass box that sits in your living room that tells you nothing but lies and propaganda, sells you a, a false narrative of reality. You literally live in the Matrix if you believe that thing. Its only purpose is to distract and divide and misinform you. But you have a device in your pocket, in your hand. You're a cyborg. You can look up anything you want, and you can go right now to WikiLeaks, and you can look this stuff up. Everything I'm telling you. I don't tell you things that you're not going to be able to verify and look up for yourself. Everything that I do, no matter what it is going to be about the truth. And if I ever lie to you or tell you something wrong, I want you to correct me. I want to be told that I'm wrong. I don't ever seek out to tell you something wrong or to be deceitful. There's enough of that in the world. There's way too much of that in this world. But Lori said babies through 18. She's not lying. And exactly, think of the Catholic Church. This is very real. There was a Catholic church in, where was it, Philadelphia, that was busted with something like, this is going to sound like I made it up, but 80,000 victims, I believe. Hundreds of priests spread out over hundreds of churches. It was a sex ring ran out of the Catholic Church, which has a huge history with pedophilia. That's just a fact. So, if you're Catholic, I'm not attacking you. It's a fact. Your religion has a pedophilia problem. And history has colored that fact as well. History is controlled by the rich and the powerful and the Catholic Church is extremely rich. Extremely rich. Do you know they pay out almost half what they take in settlements and stuff to victims of pedophilia and abuse? Almost half what they take in. But they have so much gold and riches that it is disgusting, and they own so much land. The Catholic Church is the largest landowner on the planet. Clinton says, "What did I miss?" Dude, you missed everything. You showed up late to a Yankee Rants. You are behind on a lot. This is going to be free flowing. We've been talking about deception. We talked about Pizzagate. We talked about the WikiLeaks. We talked about how everything around us is a lie. Everything around you is a lie. You have to seek out the truth for yourself, and when you find it, protect it. Do all you can to protect it and share it. Get it out. It's our job to wake people. We are the only ones that are going to do anything to wake anybody. We have to wake the others. The woke have to wake the others. You can't just prance around thinking how great it is to be woke and aware. Look at me, I'm aware. I don't watch the news and believe it. I know I'm being lied to. I'm aware of what's going on. Are you waking anybody up? Are you doing anything to stop it? And we're going to get more into this later when we get to revolution. But we got to do something about it. And it's up to us. It's up to the woke to wake the others. The aware have to bring attention to this. Or things like Pizzagate will continue to get laughed at. When most of us that are here, I see who's here right now, we all know that's real. It happened. And the media made a mockery of it, and they got their celebrities to go along, painted it as ridiculous, and everybody just forgot about it. But it's very real. They are editing the truth in real time, controlling what people see and what people are exposed to in real time. This war against fake news isn't about fake news. There's always been fake news. They never cared about it. They've never done anything to stop fake news. But they care about this. They care about stopping this. They care about stopping people talking about the truth and talking about what to do and revolutions and spreading the truth and talking about how the media is lying to you, making people aware of that. They want to stop that as much as they can. Lori says going to YouTube. A lot of people seem to be getting kicked out on Facebook. Facebook's only got 2 people here. I don't know. I couldn't really share, so maybe there's only 2 people here, but a lot of times they say you got to add a 0 to what you see on that readout. But sometimes it's accurate. Sometimes the feed will end and there'll only be 20 views. You know, never know. Things get out better sometimes they don't. But we're just going to push forward. I don't know how many people are here, but I'm going to do this show for one person. I'm still growing an audience. This is a baby show. Yankey Rants is a baby show. And I got an announcement real quick. Friday nights at 7, I think, is going to be our regular time for this. Long as that works out. I don't know how long that'll work out, but as long as that works out, Friday nights at 7. So this all central. Every time is central time. Hey Clinton, I can share a little bit. I'm dipping my toe. Like I noticed I can share to groups again, but I'm not going to go crazy. You see what I mean? I'm not going to go nuts with it. But I shared a little bit. I shared to a few pages and I shared to 2 groups. I probably shared it 5 times. But I'm pretty busy before I do a stream. Because now that I'm multi-streaming, it takes me like 20 minutes to set up. It takes a while to get ready to multi-stream. Especially since my computer's slow and it struggles with it. The next thing I want to get into, and this is going to tie in later on, it's going to seem like we're stretching off on a different tangent. But I swear to you, I'm going to wrap all of this up together neatly in a bow. The next thing I want to talk to you about is cops, police. I personally have a low and poor opinion of police and the cops, whatever you want to call them. And I believe it's well earned. I believe it's well earned, my opinion is. I don't respect them. if I'm involved and have an interaction with an officer, I do it on a case by case basis, but I go into it with no expectations. I don't attribute qualities to police officers anymore. When I was a kid, I used to. I used to look at a cop and automatically assume that that was a good person, but not anymore. Not anymore. And largely, I feel like police officers and cops are just people with a job. Someone that took a job and cash a paycheck, no different than me at my job. And they're just doing what they have to do, what they're paid to do, and they're following orders. But then again, so were Nazi soldiers. You know what I mean? And, you know, police officers, or at least what you're told about police officers when you're a kid, is that they're there to protect and serve you, right? That's not true. They are there to protect and serve big money interests. They protect and serve property and corporations and the rich, the powerful. And they enforce laws to a degree. A cop can see you getting attacked and not be obligated to help you. They don't have to help you. They don't have to get involved. They don't have to put themselves at risk. And they are always supposed to assume they are at risk. And they're never supposed to trust you. They're trained to always believe that you are lying to them. But then they want things back from you. They want respect. Well, respect isn't given, it's earned. And what you're showing me, you say there's good cops, but what you're showing me is silence. When something like the thing happened with Eric Garner and they choked him to death over selling loose cigarettes and then stood around with shirts on that said, "I can breathe," mocking the man's last words. Standing opposite candlelight vigils for him. It's the kind of shit I can't tolerate. And you can't look the other way. And you can't say, well, it wasn't all the cops in New York. No, it was like 30, 40 guys standing around in them shirts. And there's probably hundreds of cops in New York. But if I was a cop in New York, I'm taking a work strike the next day. I ain't showing up. Not till something's done about these 30, 40 guys. I ain't working with them guys. I can't work on the street with them guys. I can't put a badge on and go out in the street and look a citizen in the face and be like, yeah, I support what just happened. No, everybody's got to know that I'm against it. So that to me is why there's no such thing as a good cop. I don't believe in a good cop. I think a good cop is a myth because if a good cop existed, there wouldn't be so many bad cops. When you strap a gun and a badge on somebody, it's going to do something to anybody. Even the most honest person with the most integrity is going to be affected by that power. That is a large amount of power and authority. And it's got to do something to you. Plus, you're involved in dealing with the worst in humanity on a constant basis, every day. Cops deal with a lot of bullshit. Being a cop is a very hard job. I'm not saying it ain't. What I'm saying is that you should be held to a higher standard because you are a protector of the people, a modern day gunslinger, a law enforcer. As far as everybody knows, you know that you're a corporate bill collector, a law enforcer, fine enforcer, you know, like a tax collector in a way, revenue generator. You know, speeding laws aren't about driving safety, they're about revenue. Seatbelt laws aren't about driving safety, they're about revenue. Some of the cops that pull you over for your seatbelt may actually care that you're not wearing your seatbelt, but most don't give a shit. They care about that $10 ticket, though, and that speeding ticket on your way to work. Was that necessary? Five miles over on your way to work? No. Was there something else that cop could have been doing than sitting there waiting to catch somebody like you just on their way to work to pay taxes, to pay his salary? Maybe not. Should you have been speeding though? No, of course not. Of course not. Nobody should speed. Don't speed. Don't speed. I'm just saying it's to make money. And that's what they do. That and guard property. And this thin blue line is another reason why there's no such thing as a good cop. Do you know that statistically 70% of police officers have a history of domestic abuse? 70. 7-0. That's a lot. That's a large percentage. You know, there's a Stephen King book, Rose Matter, I believe was the name of it. Lesser known Stephen King book, but the main character's husband was a cop and he liked to beat the hell out of her. And she was afraid to leave him because of this thin blue line, right? It's real. It's real. And who you gonna call if your husband is beating you and he's a cop? What are you gonna call his friend Larry? Larry gonna come over and save you? No, can't call nobody. Then she ends up killing him and goes to prison for the rest of her life, ruins her life because she defended herself from a monster who's being defended by a bunch of good cops. That's why I don't think there's any such thing as a good cop. Now I'm going to bring it full circle. Watch. Watch this. This is professional magic. You're going to be impressed. What do dirty cops and a rigged justice system that's only set up to protect the rich and to make money for the system that controls us, what does all that have to do with how everything is a lie? Well, how do you think shit like Pizzagate goes on? You, we already covered that there's no such thing as coincidence and all of that. Think of how much stuff just lines up perfectly. It's all just magic. Again, magic's real. The official story of 9/11, let's look at that just for a second. Has more holes in it than a slice of Swiss cheese. Doesn't stand up on its own. Leaves things out when it can't explain them. Is terrible evidence for a crime, biggest terror attack in this country's history. The investigation that was done into it is a mockery to the victims and to everything that happened, especially to the truth. Doesn't stand up on its own. Still survives to this day as the official story. Can't even explain part of what happened. They left Building 7 out completely. Stands as the official story. Truth doesn't matter. Public perception does. The media knows that. The powers that be know that. So they control what rises to the top. But the cops and these detectives, they know about this stuff. Matter of fact, they scream about this stuff. There are cops that do try to get attention brought to the sex trafficking and the kidnapping and all of this stuff that's going on that is Pizzagate. The stuff people are laughing at is real. The cops, some are looking the other way, some are, but a lot of them are yelling about it. No one wants to listen to them. And then their commanders, their lieutenants, those in charge, the mayors, the chief of police, are not letting them investigate it. It's not that they don't holler about it. And that don't necessarily make them a good cop. Don't come to their defense because they're trying to solve this crime. That's great. I'm glad. But 70% of them beating on their wives is all I'm saying. So I just have trouble defending cops in any situation, even when they're being loud. But there are police screaming from the rooftops for somebody to listen to them about what's happening. They ain't laughing at Pizzagate. But what's going to happen to make the truth known? What's going to happen to make any change? What can we do? Someone asked me that today. You know, we can talk about how we live in the age of deceit. We can talk about how everything's a lie. Everything around us is a lie and we're misinformed and misdirected, attacked from every angle with propaganda. And then you can't trust the police. They're not there to protect us. They're not on our side. They can't even fight real crime. They're not allowed to. They just generate revenue for the state and for the powers that be and protect the interest of the rich. They focus on what the rich want them focused on, not necessarily what's more important to their community. So what do we do? What can we do? What can we possibly do? There's a couple options. There's a couple different options what we can do. The one option is, have you been following the yellow vest protests in France? In France, they've been rising up in the streets and they've been wearing yellow vests when they do it. Millions of people. It's a huge movement, been going on for a long time. Making good ground. They're actually making progress and getting things done and accomplishing things. But they've been ignored by the media. Something like that. Right now, there's a political revolution going on in this country. I believe in that particular fight. That's where I'm fighting right now. But if that fails, I'll be more focused in the yellow vest direction. Because as John F. Kennedy said, if peaceful revolution is made impossible, violent revolution will become inevitable. And revolution is the only way forward. No matter how we do it, or how we go about it, we've got to do it peacefully or violently. My vote's for peacefully. I vote for peacefully, not because I'm a liberal snowflake, but because I've seen our military and they're very impressive, and I don't really want to fight them. I don't want us to get to that point, but I'm ready to live on a commune and just live off the land. Get Babels to hunt for me. And Lori says, did your feed get killed on Facebook? For me, it's still live. I noticed my viewers dropped all the way to like 2 at a certain point, but it's still live. Lori says it buffered even though I went in and out many times. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Facebook is throttling the hell out of me right now, so that really doesn't surprise me. On my phone, it's been pretty good though. But I also have been half-ass paying attention to it because I've tried to stay focused on what I was talking about. And I'm pretty much through my notes. The last thing I'm talking about is revolution and how that's what has to happen. We've got to do something. Now, however you decide that has to happen in your life, do that. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I told you how I'm fighting. You fight however you want. Long as you're fighting, I'm with you. You're my brother or sister. I'm with you 100%. Whether even if you're I have a friend that's running for president. Jay, Sergeant Jay. So crazy, thinks he can be president. I'm with him 100%. Matter of fact, if I come to a plan B and I have to change my plan, I'm voting for Sergeant J. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Because we're going to have to do something. And doing nothing, that's the thing we can't do. So no matter what you're going to do, no matter what you're doing, just do it. But make sure that it's not doing nothing. Not sitting idly by and letting evil prosper and thrive. Make sure that's not what you're doing. I don't care if you even support Donald Trump, but please don't tell me you don't vote. Come on, man. Voting is in control of our lives. And please don't leave, Lori. I love you. Please vote. Just try it one more time for me. And if it fails, let's rise up. Me and you will buy a plot of land. Where are we going to buy this land at? I'm doing a documentary, a mini doc for Conspiracy Theories and Chill next Wednesday. And it's on underground bases and underground bunkers. And where those seem to be centered, I'm thinking are the safest places to be. Where there's the most underground bases in the underground bunkers. And that is in the Colorado Mountains area and the New Mexico, Arizona area, right around in there. That is probably where we should buy our land. And we'll move out there and we'll start a commune and raise goats and pigs and chickens and take care of each other. Because this stuff is all coming to an end. It's coming crumbling down. America as we know it is coming to an end. This might be your last chance to take place in an election. Be quite honest with you. I'm being serious. That sounds like I'm being sensational. I'm not. I'm being serious. Things are going to get bad fast before they get good. unless we do something, unless we do all we can. And I, if you're not going to vote, if you're not going to vote and you're still fighting, I love you. I love everybody. Y'all, my brothers and sisters. Please just fight some way, in some way. Whether that's making your life all about love, because that's what we're trying to do, is give love a voice instead of greed. Instead of me, and how much can I take from me? Giving love a voice. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs a platform. Greed has too much power, too much of a hold over the world. That needs to go away. That needs to change. And that's what we're coming to do. I just realized I've been way too tall this whole show. Let me bring it down a little bit. But let me know what you want to talk about. Because I've told you where I stand, told you the reality of the situation as I see it, and I've told you what I think we need to do. So let me know what you think. If you're here on YouTube and Periscope and Facebook, let me know what you think. And let me know what you're mad about. Let's rant about what you're mad about for a second. Go ahead and talk about what you want to talk about. But meanwhile, while I wait for comments, let me tell you how to support our shows. There are a few ways to support our shows. Everything I do is crowdfunded. So there are links in the description to support our shows in that way. And I'd really appreciate that. It'd mean the world to me just to know you support me in that way. That would be fantastic. The other way to support us is to like and share. Get this out as far as you can. You know, I want this to get out. I'm trying to build a name for myself and build these shows and build a brand. I want this to be my job moving forward. So if you can help me just by sharing, fantastic. That means the world to me as well. That means that you believe in this enough that you would want your friends to know that you liked it and you watched it, that you were here. You know, you're marking your territory. That means something to me. And I'd appreciate it. But thank you. And if you support what I'm doing, thank you very much. But Lori said I am not leaving. Thank you. You invited Jay. Awesome. Lori said I can agree to disagree. I only leave or get away from people when their comments are abusive. And that's never going to happen from me. You know that's true. Lori says that's my area loving. Good. My favorite comic, Bill Hicks, that was what his biggest message was he used to close every show with I'll never do it any justice, but basically about how this life is just a ride. It's not real. And it's an illusion. It's magic. And you shouldn't be afraid because it's just a ride. And everybody that's ever tried to tell us that, like John Lennon, they've, they've all been stricken down. They've all been cut down or silenced. But it's just a ride. It has ups and downs, twists and turns. But in the end, it's just a ride. And that was his message. And I hope that made sense to you. To me, that's the deepest thing ever. And I know I'm doing what he says no justice because what he said is well written and laid out by a comic genius. And I don't have it in front of me. But what he's trying to say is it doesn't matter. There's only certain things that matter. What's really important to you and what you love and care about and what's close to you, that's what matters. The rest of this is just a ride, just an illusion. And half of it's a lie. So guard yourself, protect yourself. You know, understand that, but know that while you're riding this ride that it is an illusion, it is a lie. And protect yourself and just radiate love. Focus on love. You know, that was what he said was all that mattered. That was the basic closing idea, that all that mattered was love and loving your fellow man and loving life and the world and everything around you. And people believe he's Alex Jones. Ugh. But that's a subject for conspiracy theories and chill, and I would cover it. Even though I don't agree with it, I'll cover anything you guys want. Next week we're doing bunkers and underground bases, though. I did a poll on Twitter We got a whole 4 votes, and underground bunkers and bases won. So I finished the first draft of the script today. Ton of research. It was really fascinating. I found out there's hundreds of these things all across the country. It's really fascinating. But Lori says she shared. Thank you very much, Lori. I appreciate it. But this has been Yankey Rants, and I've ranted about what I was going to talk about. We talked about deception, and we talked about bad cops, and we talked about revolution. Because revolution is what we're going to have to do. Some form of that. And I don't care what your idea is, fight. Fight against the lies and the deception and the negative energy that is put out, that is used against us in mass. However you choose to fight. Lori chooses love. That's completely acceptable, and I admire that. And I'm beginning to understand it a little more too. Be honest with you. Maybe that's what, a mutual friend of ours is pushing. Gee, maybe that's what he's pushing. Love. Could be. That's what we need to do. Need to radiate love and stop tolerating this greed. Because we're tolerating it. Our reality is what we tolerate in the end. When we decide something's intolerable, we stop allowing it in our life. But we're tolerating this greed. We're allowing it to run rampant. We're giving it the power that it has. And we can take that power away by standing united and fighting back against it. And that's all revolution. So you don't have to agree with me. We don't have to line up politically as long as you're fighting. We're all on the same team. We're all part of the same group. We're all part of humanity. We're all in this fight together. And this is a fight, and it's our fight. But let me know what you want to talk about, anything at all. We usually do an hour. We're at about 50 minutes, so we have time to hang out. And anything you want to talk about, we can get out there. Anything you think we need to focus on, we need to circle back to. Maybe you want to talk more about Pizzagate. We can get into that. But I implore you to go to the WikiLeaks and inform yourself that there is reality and truth there. They made it fantastical in the media. They made fun of it. And Comet Pizza itself might have been a distraction. But there's something there. Don't ignore it. Don't allow the media to get you to look away. Because evil thrives by turning a blind eye to it. Not because evil is so powerful. It's not because evil is so great. It's because people turn a blind eye to it. If people didn't turn a blind eye to the evil going on in the world, it wouldn't have such a foothold. It couldn't. But it thrives because people look away from it. That gives it power. That gives it a platform that allows it to thrive. Stop tolerating it. However you want to fight, whatever direction that is. That's what we do. To the person that asked me that today, that's what we do. So, instead of a rant and laying out all these problems, maybe I should give a solution. And that's the solution. Move forward united. In spirit, if not direct unity. So if you're not directly with me, let's say you're not with our revolution, you don't want to vote for Bernie. Okay, do something else. Let's say you want to vote for Trump. Okay, but please inform yourself and get active in other things. Vote for Trump though. Wear your MAGA hat. And stop being triggered by those. That is a distraction too. They've made Trump a boogeyman. Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it is. And it's manufactured by the media. The media is tricking you, wanting you to vote against your own best interests out of fear. That's what Trump derangement syndrome is all about. That's the main thing with Trump derangement syndrome. Robert says, you look a little sleepy. Dude, I always do. I have dark circles around my eyes naturally. I have what Sylvester Stallone had, before he got plastic surgery to fix it. Plus, there's shit lighting in here. If I had better lighting and I would let my wife do my makeup, but I stopped doing that. I did it for like 2 feeds and then I stopped. And I even learned how to do my own. So I don't even have to have the wife do it. I just feel better if she does it. But Robert says, I just went to my son's choir performance. Right on. How was that? Drinking peanut butter whiskey now. A friend at work told me about it. Told you about peanut butter whiskey? It's okay. All right. Right on. Peanut butter whiskey actually sounds pretty good. There was a type of whiskey I saw at the liquor store the other day. It surprised me. I can't remember what it was. But they had a maple syrup that sounded good too. And I haven't drank in a while. I don't really drink. I partake in cannabis. I like smoking in all of its forms. I'm bad with this. This habit has me in a stranglehold, and this should be illegal. I'd vote for a second. I'd vote in a second for these to be illegal. These should not be legal. You should not be allowed to buy cigarettes. I am pro prohibition of nicotine. 100%. But cannabis needs to be legal yesterday, brother. You know, it's coming up legal the first of the year where I live, even in the Bible Belt. Get off your ass, Trump. You want to get reelected? Legalize cannabis. I'm telling you. People will treat you like you're a genius. It ain't even your idea. You can take credit for it. You would get so many votes. I'm telling you. You're going to run against Bernie. You better legalize cannabis. You better do it before he does. Robert says you're funny, man. I try. I tried to make a living being funny, but I never really got off the ground. I locally work comedy clubs when I get a gig. The biggest gig I've ever had was opening for Screech, Dustin Diamond. And I've told the story before on a Yankee show. He's a dick, by the way. Dustin Diamond is a jerk. I'm sorry, I'm cussing a lot. I don't usually cuss on the live streams, and you got to be more careful nowadays. That's what the content disclaimer at the beginning of the show was about, because people get so triggered, and Facebook considers himself a publisher now. They control what people see, and you know, YouTube's the same way. They're no different, and I'm sure Periscope's the same. I haven't read their rules, and I'm never going to. My wife says if I learned the rules, that I would have more success, but I don't think that's true at all. I think learning the rules would just take up important space in my brain. I think even if I followed the rules, even if I was sitting here petting a kitten, they would hold back my views. They would suppress me still. You want me to tell the Screech story? You guys want to hear the Screech story? I've told it on live feeds before, but I worked with Screech one time. All right. It was a last minute gig. I got booked last minute. That's pretty much what I am. I'm the guy they call if somebody drops out or somebody's sick. I got a regular job. I got kids. My life was starting to go in that direction, and then responsibility kicked me in the ass. Kind of like Rodney Dangerfield when Rodney Dangerfield was first starting out. But all right, I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it. You got to stay though. All right, Dale says Screech story. So I get called last minute, and they're like, "Will you come down and do a show tonight? Will you open tonight?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, man!" Because any gig, I always take it. I love getting on stage. And I was like, "Who's the show for? Who am I opening for?" And he's like, "Screech." I'm like, "Holy shit! Can I get some tickets?" Right? That's my first question. He's like, "Yeah, that's cool. You can have a couple tickets." So I call all my friends. I come home. I tell the wife, "Get ready, man. We're going out to see Screech tonight." So we go out to the comedy club and we get there and I'm working. So I always get there an hour early, you know, whenever I'm working a club. And that way I can fill out the room. I can meet the owner. I can meet the manager. I can get to download what I need to know. I can meet the waitresses. I can hear about the specials because I'm the opener. Whenever you go to a comedy club, you know, there's three guys usually. You got the opener who goes up and he introduces everybody and he tells you about the specials and he tells you to tip your waitress. And then he introduces the first guy and he introduces the next guy. He does a little bit of time himself in between. That was me. So I get there, I meet the other comics. Screech ain't there yet. Screech hasn't arrived yet. Screech has a limo, right? They spent a lot of money on Screech. There's a big banner outside says Screech, real big. Screech hasn't arrived yet. It gets to be about 10 minutes before the show. There's still no Screech. The place is packed, sold out. I've got 10 friends there myself. My wife's there. We're ready. The show's ready to go. We're going to start in 10 minutes. There's no Screech, no car. And they have a car. They have a professional car they paid for Screech. Here comes Screech at 5 minutes, right? Right at the last minute, walking in like he owns the place. And turns out later, he was pissed because there was a banner outside that said Screech. He didn't want nobody calling him Screech. I was directly told not to call him Screech. When I introduced him, I was supposed to say Dustin Diamond. He wants to be called Dustin Diamond. And the club owner even told me to do that. But they put Screech on the billboard, or not the billboard, but the sign. Because who the hell knows who Dustin Diamond is? Everybody knows who Screech is. You want to come see Screech. So they promoted the show. Well, he got pissed when he saw that and didn't want the driver to stop. But the driver finally did bring him, he caved and he came to the club, came in. Anyways, so I ain't meet Screech before the show. I'm sitting there with the other comic. I go up, I do my time, did 10 minutes, and I introduce the second guy. He goes up, he does his time. He comes off. I introduce Screech, and I call him Screech. I didn't mean to, but it's fucking Screech. You know what I mean? So I said it. He's mad at me anyway when he goes up and takes the mic. So he goes up, he takes the mic, and he starts doing his time. He's supposed to do 45 minutes. The top guy does 10, the feature does 25, and then the headliner does 45 to an hour. That's the way it always works. And so each show can be scheduled, doing 2 shows a night this particular occasion. And that way they can keep everything on track and all that, and sell alcohol and know when to bring the check and blah, blah, blah. The 20 minutes, he comes off. He's like, thank you guys, hangs the mic up and comes off. I'm not even ready to go back up on the stage yet. He's not supposed to come off for another almost half hour. So I come running. I'm crossing tabletops to get back up to the stage. I get up there. I'm like, blah, 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 tip your waitresses. The club owner's in the back rolling like this. I'm still early on in my stand-up career. Now I could probably handle it better, but then I had tops 30 minutes of material, and I've already done 10, 15 of it. So I'm trying to figure out what I told and what I didn't, and just sit up there and bullshit for a little while, and I do what I can, and then I come off. The club owner's pissed, right? Screech is playing pool. He's out there playing pool, and then no, wait, I'm skipping ahead in the story. Screech is sitting at his merch table. Screech was selling merchandise. He was selling scripts to Saved by the Bell, and he was selling autographed headshots. The autographed headshot was $5, and the script from Saved by the Bell was 10 for just the script, 15 for Screech if it was autographed by Screech. And I found out later that he had bought the rights to this particular episode script. That's why he was able to sell it. But my wife wanted a headshot. She did scrapbooks. So we stood in his line. I'm working with the dude. But we stood in his line. We stood in his merch line, waited in the line, get to the front. He's staring at me, not her. She's the one in his line. I'm just next to her. He's staring at me. She's like, I want a headshot. He's like, still looking at me, holding the pen. And I'm like, yeah, she wants a headshot. He's like, money? So I'm like, okay, dick move, right? I'm working with the dude. He knows I'm working with the dude. He knows I'm not going anywhere. I'm with you the rest of the night. I'm with you tomorrow night. It would be a dick move for me to screw you over $5, but I give him the money. I forgive it. I give him the money. Move on. He signs it. She thanks him. He ignores her. We move to the side. My friend Bree is behind us. She gets next in line. She goes, I'll give you $1 for a hug. He stands up, goes to hug her. She goes to hug him. He stops her. $1? Made her pay $1 for the hug. Anyways, that was a quick little story about being in his merch line. Then the club owner comes over and he's freaking out. He's like, we didn't get a full set out of that. People were mad. They wanted their money back when Screech came off the stage, and everything happened like that. So we got to do the full time moving forward. I want you guys to go long, right? You're going to do 20. He was talking to me. Do 20, 25, long as you can. And he's like, then you introduce the next guy and let the feature do. He's like, you do half hour, 45, long as you want. And then Screech will come up and do the rest. Well, he walks off. The other comic looks at me and he's like, we ain't doing that shit. And I'm a new comic, right? Any stage time to me is golden. I'm ready to get on stage anytime I get an opportunity to get on stage. So I'm like, extra time, I want to do it. Packed house, right? He's like, we ain't doing that shit. He's like, he's an asshole. And he's like, plus, I am not getting paid to do headliner time. He's like, I'm a professional. And he's like, and I know you're not necessarily in the same situation. But he's like, don't do it. But I'm still going to do it, right? I go out to the bar, and there's like 20 minutes between shows. I go out to the bar. The second show's going to start, like I said, in a little while. I'm getting a drink. I'm talking to the bartender. She's got a tip jar. They had at this club. She had a tip jar on the counter, a big fish bowl. Screech, I see him dip in it. I see him dip in it and grabs a bunch of change out. He's playing pool at this point, waiting for the show to start. They had a couple pool tables, and I saw him take the money and put it in the pool table. I turn around. She's getting me my drink. She sees the look on my face. She's like, he's been doing that shit all night. And I was like, what? She's like, that's like the third time he's put his hand in my tip jar. And so I'm like, what the fuck? And I go back in there, and the other comics, like, I'm walking up, and we're getting ready to start. You know, the club owner's getting the lights and shit ready, and the lights are going down. We're seating people. He's like, don't fucking do it, right? So I go up on stage. I get up there, and I still don't know what I'm doing. But the club owner on the way up is like, Screech said, he's like, dude, Screech wanted me to fire you. I was like, why? He's like, because you called him Screech. I said, what the fuck am I supposed to call him? He's like, just don't call him Screech, right? So I was like, well, fuck this dude now. I'm getting paid $100 for fucking 4 shows. Sorry, I dropped the F word. It's my favorite word, but you're intelligent if you cuss. It's scientific proven. I'm getting paid $100 for 4 shows, $25 a show. And this dude with a limo is trying to get me fired because I called him by his name. He is Screech. I don't care if he wants to be called Dustin Diamond. He is Screech. So now I'm doing it. I get up on stage. I do 8 minutes. I'm supposed to do 10 minimum. 8. Tip your waitress. Blah, blah, blah. Here's your feature. He goes up, does 15. Doesn't do anywhere near his amount of time. Comes off. Screech now has an hour and a half to fill. And the club owner's already told him if he doesn't fill that time, he's not getting paid. So 20 minutes in, we already know Screech is out of material. So for an hour, he goes on a rant about different acting jobs that he didn't get. Like, did you know that Screech was up for Shaggy? Matthew Lillard almost didn't get it. Dustin Diamond was considered for the role of Shaggy. And he went on to do his Shaggy impression and how he thinks he would have made a better Shaggy. But that was all the stories. And he just went on and told us that, and then told us outright about people on Saved by the Bell. It was kind of fascinating, but it was sad at the same time because he's making a living now as a comic. Well, now he makes a living in prison as somebody's cellmate, but he was trying to make a living as a comic. He can't do comedy. All he's got is this show, and those kids got ripped off. They didn't get any residuals. They got a crap deal from that show. When you see reruns of Saved by the Bell, none of those kids are making any money. No, they got a wicked bad deal. They get no residuals from that show, no rights at all. They got their episodal pay and that's it. You know, I barely talked to Screech, but that's something he talked about on stage and off stage. Screech was a douche, by the way, but girls love him. And I heard something interesting about Screech. I never saw his porno, but I heard that the reason why women love Screech so much is he's hung enormously well, like a baby arm holding an apple. You know, I don't know if that's true or not. If anybody here saw the Screech movie, let me know. But Screech did do a porn. He's done a lot of sad things. And then he ended up stabbing a guy, right? And now he's in prison. But he is a jerk and he deserves every bit of bad luck that comes his way. Stealing tip money from a pregnant waitress. She was pregnant. Pregnant even. Tipped employees taking money from her. Isn't that ridiculous? Robert says, Lori, are you Sean's wife? No, Lori's not my wife. Lori's my girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding. My wife would kill me if she heard me say that. No. Earlier we were watching a show. I call my wife Babas. I say it all the time on here. You may have heard me say it before. You know, Babas this, Babas that. I call her Babas. It's just the way I say it. And Ginger, a friend of my show, was here earlier, and she said, "Congratulations, Babels," because I said that she won alderman. My Babels is an alderman. She won city council, and I was congratulating her, and so was Ginger. And my wife was watching the feed, and she's like, right away, "Congratulations, Babels," and she had to figure it out. But right away, she was mad. So yeah. Robert says he's hung. What? Yeah, he did a porno. I never watched it, but I've heard that it's verified in the porno. It's true. But yeah, it's like a baby arm holding an apple. I've heard that that's what it looks like. That was the way it was described to me. Is that it looked like a baby arm holding an apple. So that sounds pretty impressive to me. But now he's showing it off to a cellmate in prison, where he belongs. He's a jerk. Robert says, I love these little live shows, man. I joke a lot, but I really do like them. The wife does too, by the way. Cool. Teach me how to do Patreon. Teach me how to get supporters. I'm trying to do this as a job. I want to do this all the time. And I want to get other creators. I am courting a couple people who do shows also. And I'm going to get them to do something for me on my YouTube channel. I think we're going to hub it all out of my YouTube channel, and I'm trying to get with other creators. And I'm actually going to take part in a conference call with some other creators coming up about a community of creators that help share each other's work. So I'm looking at all kinds of avenues to be more successful with this, but the shows will keep going. I almost do too many. My wife says I'm thirsty, but you got to be. My background's in comedy, and that's the way you did it. You kept getting on stage. You kept getting back on stage. That's how you honed your craft. That's how you got better. And these are all live. I don't write this out. So I can't get any better without practicing it. So you get to be with me while I learn how to do it. You're my guinea pigs. I've always practiced on you. But this has been Yankey Rants. This is the Rant Show. Tomorrow's morning's Daily Burn is the next time you'll see me. 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for the Daily Burn. That's the Revolution Show, the Bernie Show. And then Sunday at noon, the Yankee Show. And that's just a talk show. We have fun. It's like a podcast, like a live interactive talk show. That's originally where I first told the Screech story. That's the kind of shit you would hear on the Yankee Show. So that's on Sunday at noon. And I also don't cuss so much usually. I apologize again for that. Robert's a bad influence. Elizabeth says Wiki says Screech had a stand-in for his porn movie. Interesting. Very interesting. That shines a new light on Screech. I'm kind of glad to hear that in a way, because I hate for such a douchey dude to be well endowed. Is that petty of me? It's kind of petty of me. I'm being serious about that smart people cuss more thing. I feel bad now that I know Elizabeth's here, and I know Elizabeth doesn't like swearing. I'm really not bad. I really don't cuss all the time. Well, I do. In my real life, I do. The F word's probably my favorite word, but it is the most versatile word in the English language. I will defend it to my death. Thank you guys for watching, though. And please support the show, if you can, by sharing, getting this out to your friends, telling your friends about it, promoting it in that way, or financially with the links in the description. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode and tomorrow morning for the Daily Burn. We're going to do this every Friday at 7 now, moving forward. So, Yankey Rants next Friday at 7. And I don't know what we'll talk about. Give me some topics, some ideas, what you want to see me rant about. But, why'd the music stop? I made that music, by the way. Do you like that bumper music? There is a free music app called Music Maker Pro or something, and you can make songs on it. I made this music. This particular song was made using the grunge style. You can download different musical styles and make a song based on that style. And it's interesting. Robert says, great show tonight, fuckhead. Don't ever give up. I never will, and I'm sorry that I repeated that, but it was funny. Elizabeth said, rant about GMOs. You want a little more rant? We can do more rant. Let me see who's here. We got somebody here on YouTube too. You guys want to hear about GMOs? You know what I heard about this gluten allergy stuff? How everybody's allergic to gluten? That what we're allergic to is actually the chemicals sprayed on the wheat. These GMOs. And I don't know enough about GMOs. Elizabeth was very nice to share a bunch of information with me. But with this pesky real life job that I have, I find it very hard to do all this research. I'm running 4 shows now that Yankey Rants has a regular day and time. 4 shows, that's a lot. So there's a lot of things that people have sent me I'm still behind on. And I will get into looking at that and look deeper into it. But these GMOs, these chemicals that are being sprayed on our food, on everything. You know, you can't even get, even if you buy organic food, it's sprayed with chemicals and radiated. It's all radiated. That's crazy. Robert says, I've got another guy you can reach out to for more music. Thank you. What was the other dude's name, by the way? The one that I did reach out to. Brian something, I want to say. But I'm probably wrong because I'm terrible with names and my memory is awful. But these GMOs, what Elizabeth's talking about, is a real concern. You know, to what degree, decide for yourself. But the stuff that they're spraying our food with is doing a lot of damage, and it's killing bees, it's killing a lot of insects that are beneficial, it's doing things farmers will tell you. It will destroy the ground. They have to burn and do certain things to the ground even to get things to grow after they've sprayed their crops. It's dangerous what we're spraying. Jason Comeau. I told you, Brian. I was like 16 miles away from Jason Comeau. Brent Lee. Oh, he's a musician? I didn't know Brent was a musician. I'm friends with Brent Lee on Facebook. I'll reach out to him. Right on. Elizabeth says genetically modified organisms, not just sprayed. They are modified into the seeds. That didn't work, so they had to spray it too. You know they have seed banks, apocalyptic seed banks, so they can restart society, and those seeds are modified too? I read that. I read that even the seeds that are held back to restart society are modified seeds. And I live in farm country. She's not lying. Farmers have to buy what is provided to them according to their funding, and it's all genetically modified seed. She's right. Robert says, I've got a lot of friends that do this live, but I only watch yours. That is a high compliment. I respect Robert has a really good podcast. I wouldn't do this if I didn't really like it, but it's the Right to Reasons. Great podcast. It's a atheist leaning podcast, but it's that doesn't matter because I'm Christian. I like it. I listen all the time. They have a lot of good topics. Plus, they have really good guests. I've been on there like 3 times. So check that out. But his opinion means a lot to me. It really does. I've learned a lot from Robert. I've learned a lot about audio and mixing and editing from Robert. He's been good enough. I've pestered him on Messenger a few times. So, and check out the episodes of his show that I've been on because even though I sound really nasally every time I do his show, they're fantastic episodes and I'm a great guest. I'm so interesting. And if you're my Facebook friend, I do apologize for how much of me there is, but know that there will be more to come. There will be more of me. I will be increasing the amount of shows. There will be a 5th show. Eventually, this will be all I do, and it will hub out of Facebook and YouTube and now Periscope. That's where you got to go. That's where you got to go to distribute stuff if you're a content creator. And that's what I want to be. That's my goal moving forward. And nothing's going to stop me now, Mom. I'm on top of the world. But this has been Yankey Rants. Clinton, did you just show up? If you just got here, I'm going to do 10 more minutes just for you. But Robert said it's a shitty podcast. No, it isn't. It is not. It's a really good show. They have fascinating episodes. They had an episode about Bigfoot, and it made me want to do a conspiracy theories and chill on Bigfoot. I'm going to. Matter of fact, hook me up with that dude. He needed an interview, and this guy was kind of compelling. It's an interesting podcast. he does really cool stuff with music and layering that I still don't know how to do. But everything that I do know how to do sound wise, I pretty much picked up by cheating off Robert's paper. When Elizabeth equals Hitler, oh, because of the rules with the swearing. I'm being nice now. I'm trying really hard to focus on my words. You caught me. There will be more of you. It is kind of good. I'm glad you think so because otherwise it's going to be very annoying. I've noticed I lose about 5 Facebook friends a day, but I also pick up about 5. So I'm sorry that if it's annoying you, but I'm going to use it the way I've always used it. I've always used it to promote myself, and now what I want to do is shows. So this is where I'm going to do them. And I'm going to do watch parties and things like that. And if that's annoying, then I understand, you know. But unfollow. If you're going to leave and I'm not my family, unfriend. It's rude to unfollow if you're not family or a close friend. That's just downright rude because you're not even there anymore. You're an empty space on my Facebook page. And, you're a fake invisible friend. You're not even there anymore. So just unfriend. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Yankey Rants. We will do this again next Friday at 7. That'll be our regular time until it stops working out. Thanks a lot, guys. This has been a big success. It's our first regular time in our regular time slot, and no one knew about it. I hardly was able to share it because I'm in Facebook sharing jail. Thanks to everybody who did share, and thanks to everybody for coming. See you on the next episode.